30 here. We just got done with a little bit of a work day. I want to go live with you guys for a few different reasons. I even put my Christmas tree in the background. It doesn't have any ornaments. Me and Lincoln are going to do the ornaments thing here pretty soon. So, wanted to go live. Couple things. James Stewart's back. Say what? James Stewart is back on the internet and talking. I just watched this few clips of his podcast that he's putting out. I love that guy. I do. He did so much for the sport. And he's been gone for so long. It was kind of like a piece of the sport was missing. And, so proud of him for coming back. And he's a funny guy, too. Straight up funny guy. What's up, guys? You guys coming in, make sure you're hitting that like button. That helps us a lot. But yeah, James Stewart's a funny guy. Let's do his podcast. He always cutting up. I remember that about him when I was like kind of hanging out over there with them back in the day, and we were doing some riding, things like that. Always funny. It was a little more serious, and I think this podcast is going to be really good. I think he's going to, yeah, we're live. We're live. I think that he's going to like have a lot of success. Obviously, he's really popular, and on top of that, he's got a great personality, and he's got probably endless stories that we haven't heard. And I'm actually looking forward to that. So anyways, for those of you hopping in here, I was talking about James Stewart. Maybe some of you young kids don't even know who that is, but if you want to watch what evolved the sport the most, just go back and watch James Stewart on YouTube. He was a killer back in the day. Andrew Cox. Don't know if I remember you, but if you give me some hints, I'm sure I will. There's a lot of names that I let flop in and out of my head, and it's no offense to you. I just see a lot of names. Everyone must know. Kevin, I agree, dude. Everyone must know James Stewart. I'm trying to think of some James Stewart stories that I can tell you. Oh, I got a good one for you guys. And he can attest to this. I got two good ones in one day. So, I live right up the road from James Stewart. What was that? 2008 to about 2011 for like 3 years. Literally, like, as the crow flies, a mile, 2 miles across the orange groves in Haines City, right? And, sorry, I put my shower in the background. You probably don't want to see the shower in the background. And, bomb technique, thanks, Max. And it took me about a year to get the invite to come over there through mutual friends and things like that, right? Their track was insanely dangerous. So I think it was just one of those things where, one, they didn't trust that many people naturally, him being at the top and whatever. This is what I felt, maybe it was different. Two, the track was crazy. They couldn't just let anybody come to that track, right? So anyways, after time went on, maybe he got word of who I was and I was able to ride the bike correctly or whatever. I don't know, but I got the invite to come over there and, rode a outdoor season, trained on their outdoor track. The jumps were so huge. All you guys coming in talking about bomb technique makes me really happy. You guys, for all of you that don't know what that is, we have a technique masterclass that is live right now, and we've got a good amount of people that have joined it, and it's open for one more day. So if you're looking to improve your riding, click the link down below in this video, and that's going to take you to our technique masterclass. And we're actually giving away 12 sponsorships throughout the year in that technique masterclass. So anyways, pretty stoked about that. But you guys, thanks for showing love in the comments on that. But anyways, we get back to the story here. James Stewart invites me over to ride. I, spend, I don't know, timelines, but maybe 2-3 months there riding the outdoor track, scared every time. And I mean scared every time. I don't know if any of you guys in this right now can relate to the feeling when you go to the track and there's like that one jump that you're like, God, I don't want to jump that jump today. Or you jump and you're like, I'm never jumping that jump again. That's how it felt almost every single time I went to, that's how it felt every single time I went to their track. The jumps were so intimidating, so big that you could just never get used to them. You never, ever felt comfortable on those jumps. And I crashed on that jump. Yeah, exactly, Kevin. Dude, it was insane. So anyways, to get back, the story is much deeper than me being scared, right? We get through the outdoor season. Really, anyone that rode there was just riding what James was riding. So if he was riding Supercross, you better be able to ride Supercross. He was riding outdoors, you could ride outdoors. Obviously, most people are more comfortable on that. But when it came to Supercross season, I still wanted to ride over there. They invited me to come ride Supercross. Granted, a few things here. I had motocross suspension. Never ridden Supercross, like real Supercross. Like James's track was the real deal. And motocross suspension and supercross suspension make a really big difference in that environment, like a really big difference. And I went out there a couple days, whatever, just warming up, trying to get the jump dialed in. And Big James was like always on me about like hitting the whoops and stuff like that. And I was scared to death of these whoops. Like to this day, whoops are like, man, supercross whoops are hard. They're hard. And it was always like, go faster. You got to go faster in. You got to enter faster. You got to take your speed in. You got to keep going faster. I was like, the Supercross suspension is stiffer. And, you know, like every time I go, I'm like, man, this is scary. But James would come in and go so incredibly fast in them, right? And Malcolm, too. Malcolm was just kind of getting into the pro scene. So, but he was fast in them as well. Anyways, one time I come by, I'm on the track with James. There's a turn that goes at the end of the whoops, but it's lane to lane. Like there's no separation in the lane. Basically, the whoops butt up to that other lane. I come down the whoops faster than I've ever went. The bike starts kicking sideways on me, right? It's like, you know, like I know that it's going bad for me at this point. I know that like what's about to happen isn't going to be good for me personally. Now, granted, James had just won his Supercross championship, 450 Supercross championship. He's got all this going for him, right? I'm this goon swapping back and forth through the whoops. He comes around the corner. My bike shoots off towards the corner. I'm now going head on with James Stewart as he's railing around a berm after I've gotten all whiskey throttle out of these whoops. He dives off the turn. I dive down the turn. I miss him. Big James is pissed. James is like, what's going on? Like, what, are you kidding me? Like, you can't ride the bike through the whoops. And I'm feeling like I should just go home. And I should have probably went home that day. And it was like just one of those things like I could have hurt the fastest man on the planet. I could have hurt the fastest man on the planet that day from not knowing how to ride the whoops correctly. And so, you know, anyways, long story short, don't go ride with people that are, you know, like he was quite a bit better than me on Supercross. On outdoors, like to give you guys lap time comparison on Supercross, he would be like 6 to 7 seconds a lap faster. Outdoors, it was always like 10 to 12, but the track was way longer, way bigger, right? And so, you know, I mean, there was days, like my best days was in like 5-6 second range on the outdoor track. But that's crazy, right? If we did a 30-minute moto, he would lap me. And, you know, you think a guy's fast at like watching him on TV, but put him on his track at his house, and you're like, holy smokes, this is. Every time I went there, it was like I always look back at that period of my life when I was training over there with those guys of like, did that actually help me, or did it like discourage me to the point where I was like, I'm probably never going to be that fast. That's what I felt like a lot of the times. Of like, I was there, and I likely got better. But man, was it discouraging. Oh, yeah, Leadville. Yeah, there we go, Andrew. Nice to know you. So all you got to do is give me locations, and I remember. It was discouraging enough to where I was like, man, I look back now, I'm like, I don't know if the good outweighed the bad on that one. Like, it was just every day, I'm like, man, how do these guys go so fast? It's so incredibly fast. So anyways, a lot goes into it. Now what I know, if I knew now what I know, or if I knew then what I know now, I would understand it a lot more and understand it was a lot about bike setup, consistency on the riding, almost perfect technique, like, you know, a whole team around them. Oh, I got one more story about the Stewart's whoops section. Okay? All right, so picture this. Little old Tyler's driving over. This is the same day I got sent out to the pole barn by Big James. So I drive over. I think I showed up late, and there's something big going on that day, right? And I showed up late, and so Big James got pissed, and he made me park way far away from everyone. He said, you got to park in the pole barn today, which was far away. And they're doing, like, super private stuff to James's bike they probably don't want anyone to see and all that stuff, right? But anyways, there's all these Japanese people in from Yamaha on the Supercross track. I'm talking, like, 8 to 10. And we're riding Supercross that day. Same set of whoops that I almost killed James in. Were like my arch nemesis. They were big and they were long and you had to hit them really fast. I come into those things with Big James in my mind. Go faster, go faster, go faster. Same thing, drop a wheel. The bike starts giving me the huckabuck. It bucks me off the left side this time, and the left side was the starting line, like what would have been the starting line, so it was just a flat straightaway. And I crash big time on the flat straightaway, and all I remember from that crash, and it's funny to this day to think about it, is all these Japanese dudes. All I could hear when I'm laying on the ground, because I wasn't getting up, all I could hear was clipboards hitting the ground. Just clipboards just smacking the ground left and right. And all of these Japanese dudes have thrown their clipboards, they were taking notes with James on, to come see if I was basically alive. And so I look up, and I've got all these Japanese guys, like, standing around me, asking if I'm okay, and I was okay. I was just pissed that I was on the ground again. And, you know, they're like, not asking me with words. And Calvin Smith, make sure you, if you got to buy your wife a wedding ring, Calvin Smith in the comments here. If you don't buy it from him, unfollow me. Anyways, clipboards are flying. I look up. Japanese people are above me. I like feel like I'm in a different country. I remember that because I got a little concussed. I felt like God. I was like, where am I? Where am I? There's just a bunch of Japanese people standing around me. I don't know. You'd had to have been there to really understand it, but man, it was a real weird situation. And anyways, I'm not going to go any deeper into these stories, but those were 2 days that were like, okay, I got one more story, and you can find this video on YouTube. I want you guys, once we get off of this live, I want you to go straight to YouTube, and I want you to type in Malcolm and Pup, P-U-P, crash. Malcolm and Pup, P-U-P, crash. Malcolm Stewart crashes into Pup. Or just type in Malcolm Stewart and Pup, crash, and you'll find this video. And you've probably seen it on the internet. I was there that day. So, Pup, I live with Pup. We were roommates, right? Pup's a good buddy of mine. We're still good buddies to this day. And his real name's Cecil. And so I still call him Pup, but he's like grown up now. So like, you know, and he was kind of like a teenager then, but he's grown up now. He wants to be called Cecil. Anyways, I hope he watches this. I'm going to call him Pup. I pull into the track, again, later than everyone, for whatever reason. And I get like close to the buildings and all that, and I see Pup coming off the track. Bars are mangled. He's got dirt all over him. His visor's broken off. Like, it's like a real mess, right? And I'm like, dude, what happened? He's just pissed. He's like, Malcolm's an effing idiot. And I'm like, what did Malcolm do? Malcolm must have took him out in a corner like really hard, right? And Malcolm comes off, his bike's all mangled. And I'm like, oh, wow, like something major happened here. And come to find out later, broke Pup's wrist, unfortunately. But come to find out later, Malcolm scrubbed on like the biggest jump on the track, scrubbed underneath Pup. His back tire hit underneath Pup's back tire and instantly endoed Pup. Like, ting, over the front. Like, he landed, the bike was upside down, basically. And when Malcolm's back tire hit underneath his, it shot his back tire the other direction. So he crashed too. But he just landed on his butt and slid down the landing. So he had like a bruised butt for a few days. But Pup, on the other hand, went over the bars, broke his wrist, whatever, mangled this bike, was super pissed. And I pull into all this chaos, all this drama, and Pup's pissed at Malcolm, Malcolm's pissed at Pup, and they're still really good friends and no hard feelings, but you guys gotta find that video on YouTube, and it'll blow your mind. You gotta watch it close, because it's old school phones, right? Like old school, like, whatever, iPhone original, and that filmed it, and it was Zeb Smith that filmed it, or his sister or someone, and you hear them like, oh! You know, because they're like filming, just having a good time out there riding. Pup gets smacked by Malcolm's back tire. Anyways, that's my 3 James Stewart, Malcolm's. Can you see my eyelids? How about now? How about now? Man, no, I got a phone call. I got a FaceTime call while we were on here, and it jacked it up. Can you guys see me? Can you hear me now? Oh, people are coming back, so there must be something. Yes, sweet. Sweet. So, anyways, sweet. Everyone come back. If you're on here and you haven't hit the like button, maybe do that. That might send it back out to the other people. Just tuning in. Oh, you got to rewatch. If you're just tuning in on this one, you guys got to rewatch all these James Stewart stories. I have to tell you. You got to make sure that you rewatch this deal. Yeah, the stories up from that place are endless. I don't know if you guys ever watch Bubba's World. Did you guys ever watch Bubba's World, the TV show that James had? I think it was like on MTV or something like that. I was on a couple of those episodes, but one episode, Eric Sorby was pulling me in canoe in the field. He was driving a four-wheeler. I was in the canoe, but it wasn't in the water. It was in a field, and he was trying to ramp me into a pond. Yeah, there's a lot of funny stuff that went on in those days. So anyways, I did want to talk about today being the last day to sign up for our course. That was another thing that I want to talk about. So we're going to cut the course off tomorrow night. And so if you haven't done that, link is in the description down there. Make sure you guys get signed up. Small investment to a lot better riding future for you guys. Thanks, Moto Crazy. I think you might be crazy. If I'm the best rider you know, you need to meet some new friends. But I appreciate it. I like to think that I can ride pretty decent. And yeah, so that's about it. You guys got anything for me? What's going on in your guys' life? Anything? Anything good? I'm enjoying these lives lately, by the way. You're not the best, I know, but you're very good. There you go, Kevin. There you go. Yeah, so anyways, those are my stories for the night. You guys have always been super great to me here on YouTube, so I'm just trying to give you guys a little extra love, and you know, YouTube has been kind of a crazy thing for me. Speaking of YouTube, let's talk about YouTube for a second. I want to get some opinions on you guys. We've been throwing around some ideas, and you guys are going to be the first to kind of hear about it. Do we start an enduro slash cross-country channel called the Enduro Factory, and we do wood stuff? Because I can ride in the woods probably just as good as I can ride on the track. And I feel like there's a big lapse in good instruction there. And so we've been tossing around the idea about having a second channel and relaunching our Friday Fails channel. So we'll be running 3 channels, which is a lot of work. But I think the Friday Fails channel, the MX Factory channel, and the Enduro Factory channel, all running at the same time,